Welcome everyone, it's Raj from 3CB. Real Madrid's Eden Hazard has picked up his 7th injury during his short tenure with the club after a very durable tenure with Chelsea, his former club. So the question becomes, what's going on and why is he constantly getting injured? Let's start back when he first came into camp during his first season. The first factor, I've picked out 6, is his habits. He came into camp, this is well documented, out of shape with poor fitness levels. He very quickly picked up a hamstring injury, which is very likely related to each of those things. He picks that hamstring injury up, and then he picks up an ankle knock, which doesn't heal well and turns into eventually a surgery required, and he essentially misses all of his first season prior to the pandemic shutdown. Now, his fitness levels, factor 2, are fluctuating even more. He comes back from the restart, picks up a couple more knocks, again, that cycle roller coaster of fitness, comes back out into this season and again picks up a muscle injury, gets COVID, which we know affects fitness, picks up 2 more muscle injuries. This roller coaster of fitness leads to increased risk because every time you transition back to on the pitch or back to training, there's increased risk for injury because you simply cannot replicate those demands off the pitch during rehab. The third factor comes on the tail end now of his injuries, as his last 3 overt injuries have been muscular injuries. This is what I call a muscle injury re-injury cycle, because what happens is once you pick up a muscle injury and there's scar tissue development, that leads to inherent short-term increased risk because that muscle cannot tolerate the demands and stresses that are now placed upon it. And then again, it impacts your fitness, as I touched on before. And then lastly, it can lead to compensations all along your body, which leads to also added injury risk and potential injury to other parts of your body. Now, on top of all that, there's 3 other risk factors as well. The 4th risk factor is age. We know the research shows that year over year for footballers, there's an increase in injury risk, especially for soft tissue injuries. For example, with the hamstring, there's a 30% year over year injury risk increase. Fifthly, Hazard has played during his time with Chelsea in many high-intensity, long-duration seasons and tournaments, and obviously he was a star player, so he was being keyed on and relied on heavily as well. All of these increase wear and tear. And the last factor here, number 6, is Hazard's playing style. What makes him such a unique and dynamic player is his quick burst start-stop change of direction ability. But this puts a lot of stress on the body, which is fine when you're training and playing consistently. But now when you're going through these cycles of injury and fitness loss, that stress can be too much for the body to handle. So now the question becomes, can Hazard ever get out of this injury cycle and be the player that he was at Chelsea? It's difficult, but not impossible. A lot of it really starts with his own habits of fitness and commitment, like we've recently seen with Ousmane Dembele, who was also in a very, very bad injury re-injury cycle, but looks to have emerged out of it, although it's still early. And much of that is a testament to his newfound commitment. The issue here with Hazard is he has many of those other underlying factors as well.